All right. So, all right. So tonight I want to talk about how to calculate pips, and then how to calculate pips and money and trade management. Okay. So we talked about. I did a short video this morning on trade management. And and on that trade management, I talked about this. I talked about break even. I talked about breaking it even on a trade, right? So break even is one way to manage a trade. Okay, so we have trade management. Trade management. So number one, we have break even. Number two, we have using stop profits. Using stop profits. All right. Number three, using trailing stops. Trailing stops. Okay. So these are the things we do. These are the, hold on. Okay. So this is how you do trade management. Now, what is trade management? Now, when you are in a trade, when you place a trade, now most of the trades we are going to be taking, especially for our $50 plan, are 10 to 20 pips. Most times it will be 20 pip trades, but most times it will be 20 pip trades. But then it's important also to know that when you are in profit, you want to secure the profit. Someone was telling me, I think 2 days ago, he was saying that a particular trade we gave, I think there was a trade we gave yesterday. Someone said he had a loss on it. I was telling you that, guys, that someone else took that same trade and made profit of the trade. So the guy was saying that he watched a video of one master trader, and the guy was like, if you ever make a 15 pip profit, that profit should never turn to a loss. Okay, so what was he saying? He was saying that he was talking about how to use trade management. So trade management is about how you handle your trade when you are in profits. Now, if your trade is 10 pips, if the target of your trade, which is if the take profit of the trade you are in is 10 pips, you may not need a lot of trade management. You may not need much in the way of trade management. But when you have a trade that is like 20 pips, 30 pips, 50 pips, and all that, right? Because, for example, what we are doing now, we are going to all the trades we took today were 20 pips, right? So I've decided to the signals I give now, I decided to limit them to 20 pip trades so that there is no complication. Because if we had 20 pip trades yesterday, we would have had some people that made a loss would have made a win. All right. So besides even that, that's for the general group. But besides that, our plan, our $50 plan is definitely going to be 20 pips a day, not even 20 pips per trade. It's 20 pips a day. Once we've gotten our 20 pips, you are not permitted to take trade on that account anymore. You can take trade on any other account, but not that account. That account is totally out of bounds, as it were, until the next day. All right. So when you have a trade, just like this trade, before you guys came on here, I was talking to Kingsley. Kingsley was saying that his USD CHF trade is still running. All right. So, but I said to him, I said, you don't even have to bother about the trade. So someone said he closed his own trade, and then Kingsley said his own was still running. So I said, as long as you have managed that trade, you're not bothered about that trade anymore. All right. So sorry, this is okay. So the trade, this is the USD CHF trade we took today, this morning. The trade has not hit take profit. You can see the take profit is under here. The trade has not come to take profit yet. But I was telling him, I said, as long as you have managed this trade, with me, your trade is at break even, you don't have to, you are not bothered about when the trade hits take profit. You might go to sleep tonight, and then by the time you wake up tomorrow, it hits take profit or whatever. The trade has no even risk. Even if the trade turns back, you are not going to lose on that trade. That trade is totally risk-free. But of course, you can decide to take your profit from here right now and close the trade, fine. But in some cases, you might need to leave the trade running. You can leave the trade running as long as you have managed the trade properly. All right? As long as you've done the trade management properly. So trade management is how you handle a trade that you've already entered. Trade management is how you handle a trade that you have already entered. Okay? So in such a way as to hold profits that you have made, in such a way as to keep the profits that you have made. So the first one is break even. And this morning, what I said about break even was that you take your trade, and then you, let's say you have three trades. You have a trade, and you have three parameters. So let's do that. So you have a trade, and it's a sell. And you have three parameters. Number one, you have an entry price. Entry price. Number two, you have a take profit. You have a take profit price. Number three, you have a stop loss price. Stop loss value. Stop loss value, take profit value, entry price, whatever, price value, they're all the same. All right, so now you have these values, right? For every trade you want to take. For every trade you're taking, these are the values. Okay? For every trade you're taking, these are the parameters you have. And these are the parameters we always give for trades. All right? So you have an entry price, you have a take profit price, you have a stop loss price. Now, the thing is, if you are entering trades by market execution, which means instantly take the trade, the entry price is fixed at that time that you take the trade. Okay? So you don't have to fix the price yourself. You just enter. Once you click on buy or sell, the price is automatically set at that time. Now you have a take profit price, then you have a stop loss price. So what you do with break even is, like I said earlier today, what you do with break even is when you see your profits, when you see your trade in 15 pips profit. Now someone asked me today if they have to be watching their charts. My answer to that is this. For the $50 trade, you're going to be doing, you will not have to do much of that, as I will tell you what's going on with the trade. All right. But basically, this is a training for us to become traders. All right. Beyond that plan we are working on, your goal is to learn here and become better traders. All right. So that's why we're teaching all of these things. And you can see that you can even still use them for a trade that has take profit of 20 pips, for example. All right. So a trade can be 20 pips target, take profit, and then it goes to 15 pips, and you don't do anything about it, and the trade reverses, or you let the trade reverse again, right? So if you lock in profit, that's good. But then for the purpose of this plan, I will most likely, most of the time, I will be telling you what to do with this trade, because this is a special plan that we're working on. But basically, generally, you trading, these are concepts you want to put into your personal knowledge base as a trader. All right, I hope you guys understand what I mean. All right, so now if your trade is 15 pips in profit, you should do two things. You should do one of two things, either of two things. Number one, you either break even or you use stop profit. Stop profit. Okay? So you either break even when your trade is 15 pips in profit, you enter a trade. When your trade is 15 pips in profit, like I said, don't look at this like, okay, you need to use this definitely now for our $50 plan. No, this is for your knowledge, right? You can use this too. You can use this. You can use this too within our plan. But the purpose of this mainly now at this time is to teach you this for the purpose of your forex education. Okay, so that's what it is for. Now, when your trade is 15 pips in profits, you should do either of two things. Number one, either you break even or you use stop profits. So what is break even? Break even is this. You have an entry price. At that time, you modify your trade. So if you've taken a trade before, you know what it means to modify trades. So I can't really show that to you right now on the trade. I don't have a trade running, all right? That's why I was telling you guys today to do it so that you will understand what I mean, all right? So I'm sure some of you have done it. Some of you have done it before, or some of you already know. Okay, sorry guys, internet issues. All right, so that's what it is. You take what you do is you modify for break even, all right? So what you do is you modify your order, which is already in 15 pips profit. Sorry, let me check that. Let me be sure I'm being heard. Okay. So you modify your order, which is already 15 pips in profit, all right? You modify it and you make your stop loss. Your stop loss, remember we have three values: entry price, take profit, and stop loss. Now the place where you have your stop loss, you cancel your stop loss and you replace your stop loss with your entry price. That is the meaning of break even. You modify your trade, which is already 15 pips in profit, and then you replace your stop loss with your entry value. Your entry value, if you are using MT4 for your laptop, you will see your entry price there. If you're using MT4 for your phone, you will typically see your entry price on top of the screen. All right. So that is for break even. So you replace your stop loss with your entry price. You leave your take profit intact, and then you modify. So once you do that, your trade is at that time risk-free, which means that trade is a risk-free trade, which means that there is no risk. Remember, I said, was it yesterday or so? I said your risk on the trade is your stop loss. The risk on the trade is your stop loss. All right? The risk on the trade is your stop loss. So at that time, your stop loss is now your entry price. So you have zero risk on that trade. Zero risk on that trade. So if the risk on your trade is your stop loss, then and you modified your trade, you replaced your stop loss with your entry value, then you have no more risk on that trade. So you can leave that trade, let that trade run anyhow it wants to run. Okay, and then that's what it is. That's what for break even. Now for stop profit, what you do is you do not just replace. You do the same thing. Your trade is 15 pips in profit, for example. Your trade, of course, your trade is 15 pips in profit. Now you modify the trade. But when you modify the trade, what you are doing at that time you are no more replacing your stop loss with your entry value alone. You add two pips to your entry value. You add 2 pips to your entry value and replace your stop loss with the new value. All right. Now let me clarify this. Okay. So for stop profit, when your trade is 15 pips in profits, you modify the trade add 2 pips to the entry price and replace the stop loss with the new value. Okay. I'm not so sure how to you do this stuff to make it stand as one. All right, so this is what it is. So for stop profit, when your trade is 15 pips in profit, you modify the trade, add 2 pips to the entry price, and replace the stop loss with your new value. Okay, so that's the way it's done. Now, if you are in a buy trade, I said add 2 pips here. All right. So if you are in a buy trade, we know that if you are in a buy trade, your trade begins from the top here. Your trade starts from the bottom and is going up. So this is your entry price. This is your entry price here. And this is your stop loss. This is your take profit here. All right. And then below here is your stop loss. Okay, so you have take profit, TP. You have TP. Okay. You have entry price, EP. Then you have stop loss, SL, right? So now this is for a buy trade. This is for a buy trade. For a buy trade. Okay. So this is for a buy trade. For a buy trade, you have the entry price, you have the take profit above, you have the stop loss below. Okay. Now for a sell trade, for a sell trade, you have price like this. So you have an entry price, you have stop loss, then you have take profit. So what now? You have entry price here. Okay, so, okay. So this entry price. This is for a sell trade. So for a sell trade, we know that this stop loss is above. Stop loss is above SL, while the take profit is below. Okay, basically the opposite of a buy trade. Okay, so this is a buy trade, this is a sell trade. All right. So now what you do for stop profit, what you do for stop profit is for a buy, your trade is 15 pips in profit. You add 2 pips to your entry price. You add 2 pips to your entry price, and you take that number, that new number, you replace the stop loss with it. You replace the stop loss with that number. All right. You add 2 pips to your entry price. You replace the stop loss with that number. That's how you do stop profit for a buy trade. Then for a sell trade, you take your entry price, you subtract 2 pips from it and replace your stop loss with it. You take 2 pips out of your entry price and you replace your stop loss with that new number. That is how you do stop profit. Sorry, guys. That's how you do stop profit. That's how you do stop profit for a sell trade. For a sell trade, you take your entry price, you subtract 2 pips from it, you replace your stop loss with it. That's when you are in 15 pips in profit. When you're in 15 pips in profit.
Excuse me.
Yes, go on.
Is there any particular reason why we are using +2 and -2?
No,
any other? Can't you that value?
There's no particular reason. The reason you can use +3, you can use +5, but why we are using +2 is that we want to allow the trade room to move around, because we know that trades don't move in straight lines. Your trade may be 15 pips in profit now. It can come back to 10 before it goes to 20. All right, so we don't want to make when we modify our trade now, you know, we have a new stop loss now, which is the entry price. So we don't want it to be too far. If we lock in 5 pips in profit, if we add 5 pips to it, we may come too close. So we might see that the trade will knock us out before it goes to take profit. So we just want to lock in 2 pips in profit, so that in the case of that trade, in the unlikely situation that trade reverses, we are already 2 pips guaranteed. We are 2 pips guaranteed in profit, so there is no loss. That trade is actually a winning trade guaranteed. All right. So that is the reason why we are using 2. You can use 3. You can use 5. All right. But it's advisable to use 2, so that you allow your trade room to move. You allow a 13 pips. Since you are 15 pips in profit, if you lock in 2, you have 13 pip allowance for your trade to move up and down before it gets to your take profit. All right. So I hope I answered that question.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Great. So that's what it is. That's how to do stop profits, and those are the 2 ways you. Okay. Those are 2 ways you manage your trade. Then the third one is using trailing stops. This is trailing stops. Sorry, I made a mistake with this. This is trailing stops. Using trailing stops. Okay, no. Stop profit, stop profit, sorry. Stop profits. Then there's a third one. Okay, no, this is not what I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, trailing stops, that's the third one. All right, so we have break-even, we've talked about break-evens, using stop profits, then trailing stops. Trailing stops is mainly used for MT4. All right, trailing stops is mainly used for MT4. If you are not on MT4, trailing stop will not work. It's going to be used on MT4 for your laptop, not for phone. Trailing stop will not work for your phone. It will only work for your computer. All right, And what it is that you set it in such a way, guys, let me end this session. Let me end this session and come back again because they are telling us it's going to expire soon. Let me end this session, come back again so I can show you how trailing stops work. All right. So I'll send you another link now. I'll send you another link in 5 minutes to join again. All right. Thank you, guys.